It works.
Nice. This podcast is sponsored by Viagra.
Damn it.
Yeah, you weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I
For
was
our
not.
first podcast?
No.
Yeah.
Viagra, huh?
Well, we're not sponsored by Viagra. I don't use it. I hope you're not using it.
The
But
big little blue pill money.
pretty much, man. The I remember who was it I was telling this to? I sent to Chris, right? Where I was telling him that uh, the fucking Beats is like a natural Viagra.
What?
You remember that?
Oh, oh, kinda. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I was just telling him like because he said, "Oh, I love Beats. Oh, I love Beats." But then I was like, Beats give you a fucking boner. He's like, "What the jacks?" I'm like, "Yeah, it gives you a boner. It is like the natural Viagra, dude. Eat like five of those in a milk in a shake or a smoothie or something. You'll be set to fuck anything."
All right. So
And that was our segue into this podcast that
awesome.
we're doing. So the podcast is called Bunk Buddy Theories. I was about to say Bed Bunk Buddies, but
No, don't.
I
If you just for the warning, don't look up bunk buddies on Google, especially
do
with
not.
your safety filter off, because you will be
You'll
unhappily
be
surprised, or you'll be happily surprised. I don't know.
you'll be greeted with some
The-
interesting pictures. I haven't seen it. You told me that there was a bunch of gay stuff on there. I don't know what the hell's
yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
I mean,
I was like, what?
it involved bunk beds, and I'm pretty sure those guys were good friends. I mean,
Buddies.
really good friends. But
Oh, good
yeah,
lord.
I guess until we get world famous, don't search bunk buddies on
Or
Google. That's
yeah,
that's a is that a PSA? Yeah.
yeah, that pretty much is.
The more you know.
Yeah, oh, the fucking ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Man. Oh man, they have this thing from this company called Elgato where you can install certain sound clips. I don't know if you get it. Like for example, like that the fail horn from what was it? The Price is Right.
I don't remember.
What was the one like they kept giving the price and that little man kept going up on the mountain, and then if you fall over and they play that stupid sound at the end.
I don't know. I know I don't remember the name of the show. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah. So okay, then we'll give up on that. Moving on.
Yeah. Do the come on now. Do good. Do the right introduction.
The right introduction. So we're not sponsored by Viagra. Beats is the natural Viagra. The fail horn and the show that Jimmy doesn't know where the fuck it's from. So we covered that. But everybody who's listening to this is our first episode of Bunk Buddies theory, and what we're going to be talking about is pretty much debunking theories that are out there, right?
Well, I
Pretty
guess
much.
because we're trying to figure out if bunking and debunking were like the same thing. So debunking, you prove something wrong. If you're bunking
Yeah.
it, you're proving it right. I mean, I think that's how
Yeah.
words work, right?
I guess, or we can just look up in the dictionary and find out what the fuck those words mean.
Nah, I'm
No,
too
I
busy.
know, deep. Yeah, I'm too lazy too. But debunk, when it's honestly, when it's debunk, it's like when you figure out that you just figured it out, right? If it's like a lie or something.
Yeah, I mean, debunking is pretty definitive. It's if it's something that isn't something you thought it was, you prove it wrong. So like,
Ah.
well, I mean, I know one of the first things we really want to talk about on bunk buddy theories was just kind of a general discussion of ghosts, you know.
Hmm.
And so, you have people like ghost adventures and ghost hunters, and a lot of time they'd say like, "Oh, this thing flew off the ceiling and hit me in the head." It's like, "Oh, but it was just a bug, so that wasn't a ghost.
Mm.
So it was debunked.
Yeah.
So it's
It was like, oh
debunked that
man,
it's
I
not a
heard some.
ghost."
Or it's like, oh man, I thought I heard somebody, growling at me in the middle of the night, but I found out that it was my ass.
Yeah, It's like it
Okay,
was the
so I looked up
neighbor's
the
cat, you know.
yeah. So I found the word debunk. So it's expose of falseness or hollowness of a myth, idea, or belief.
Okay, so then what's
Uh,
bunking other than sleeping in a bed?
bunking. Sleep in a narrow berth or improsive bed, typically in shared quarters. Well, it's exactly what the hell you just said.
Damn it. Okay, so I guess that's not how words work, but it's fine. It's fine. We already got the URL, we got the Twitter, we got the Instagram, we got the SoundCloud, we got the podcast. It's all
wait,
Bunk Buddy theories.
wait a minute. We got an Instagram.
No, I haven't signed us up for Instagram yet because I figure
We
I don't really want to take pictures of anything anyways. So
do we have Twitter?
we do have Twitter. The
Ooh.
tweets. We do the
Wait a minute.
tweets.
When was this all set up?
Probably the same time I set up the email address,
Damn,
which
you
you can
did a
reach us at
dirty little bit.
bunkbuddytheories at gmail.com.
That's right. That's our email. But make sure it's the right email, or it's going to be sending emails to a gay
Yeah,
porn
maybe I
video.
should. Oh my gosh.
Like, thanks for supporting our movies.
Yeah, we really enjoy when people are sending us encouraging words.
Oh man, yeah, you guys can do it. Great first episode, and they're like,
Yeah,
damn. All right, so I guess first topic then we're gonna talk about ghosts. And like my friend Jimmy. Oh, I didn't even. Did we even introduce ourselves? Our
nope.
names?
I've kind of been
Oh,
waiting for you to
fucking,
introduce this, but
fucking first awesome first episode. I'll tell you that. So me, the guy with the weird deep voice, is Paul, aka, and my friend over here who lives in
don't
the
say
middle
it.
of
Don't.
nowhere.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it. No, you live in a
No,
fucking
no,
sewer with a
no.
bunch of turtles.
Stupid.
No.
So what? I'm Master Splinter. Is that my name?
Yeah.
I'm
Or if you want to,
James.
James. Or we can just call you Jimmy
Yeah,
Jam, or Jim, or
yeah,
Jimbo,
yeah.
or just James. I just call you Jimmy. Fuck it. So it's Jimmy on the other line over there, and I'm Paul. And yeah, we're not going to give our last names out, which I'm probably going to fuck up, and I'm going to give it out anyways. So just stay
Probably.
tuned for that.
Oh, and
But
we're coast to coast.
ooh,
Yeah, you're on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. And I think what might be interesting is if we talk about like a current event. Like I could read a newspaper of a certain current event that is portrayed on the East Coast, and then you could read something that's similar on the West Coast, and we'll see how much, the difference is, like how much it affects you over on the West Coast as it affects me over here on the East Coast. That'd be kind of interesting.
okay. Um, crazy that you just said that. Can I give you a little current event before we start on our topic?
All right.
So as you as you know, it started raining out here where I'm at, and this late, you know how out here, I'm just gonna say it. Well, it doesn't even matter. They're not gonna find me. But so fucking, I live out in L.A. People in L.A. need to get their shit together when it rains because they cannot fucking drive at all. So, getting to this story, this lady decided, oh man, there's raindrops hitting my windshield. Let me get on the fucking off ramp.
Like going the opposite direction?
Yeah.
Oh,
So her excuse was it started raining. It scared her. She went on the off ramp of the freeway and she
ouch.
drove for a good 20 minutes on the opposite side of the fucking freeway, like
Wow.
opposite of traffic.
Yeah.
I know damn well you don't fucking miss it.
No, not at all. So I used to live on the West Coast, and that's exactly like anytime it began to sprinkle, you could be on the freeway going 80 miles an hour, and then if it just started sprinkling on your car, you would just see miles of red lights, just people slamming on their brakes, and you're
Yeah.
just like, "Oh God, it's raining." Like I gotta like do some kind of crazy emergency move now. So many times I had to like go into a ditch to get around a bunch of idiots crashing into each other.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I don't miss it. I don't miss it
Yeah,
at
you
all.
don't miss it. So yeah, there was. Oh man, I should. You know what I was about to do too? I was about to record the radio because I was listening to a radio station out here, and like the minute the traffic report came out, it was nothing but accidents, blown tires, car crashes, cars hitting walls, cars driving the opposite of the freeway. Uh, a lady got out of her car to check her tire, and she slid down the side of the hill.
What?
Yeah, it was fucking madness, dude. And it was only raining for like 20 minutes.
Was like the first rain you guys have gotten in like how many months?
No, uh, no, we've been getting them here quite often. It's just been a lot cooler. Sometimes they'll get hot, then it'll rain like the next evening. But actually, when I was out in Utah, it rained a lot out here. It rained a lot. But yeah, but it was like months. It was like almost a year, I think, that we saw rain until it started raining out here. I think what was in February it started raining out here a little bit, and
Then
everyone's
people
like,
just
"Oh my
start
god!"
panicking. It's like
Yeah,
this
they're like,
Godzilla's attacking the city.
"It's like the gods have forsaken us."
Yeah.
And then it's just like, "All right, time to fucking get an accident, guys." It's like all these idiots in LA, they meet up at a secret location and like, "All right, man, you're just gonna fucking slam your brakes every 3 seconds, all right? You're gonna fucking just crash into shit, all right? That's your job. You too, get on the 405, cause a big scene, make sure everybody's late for work.
Yeah.
Everybody got it? All right, let's go. Like it's like a like an AA meeting for for dumbasses that don't know how to drive in the rain.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you said, I don't miss it at all.
yeah, good.
Ugh.
Like, oh man, I have out in Utah, I didn't get all that. Even the people out there when it snowed. Imagine if it snowed out here.
Yeah, it'd be Armageddon.
Yeah, or should I say Carmageddon?
Yeah. Snowmageddon.
Oh my god. But anywho, yeah, I
Yeah.
just wanted to say that. So, all right. So
Good to
now
know.
that we got that out of the way, yeah. So people driving on opposite sides of the freeway against
Yeah. Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, just keep that in mind. That's what we got in LA. So you guys don't forget. Like next time you think about vacation plans, you're like, I'm gonna fucking stay away from California, man. Go to Utah. It's nice.
Good to
But
Utah.
yeah,
The more
and
you know.
yeah. Oh, I want that soundboard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just press any button for certain little things. That'll be cool. But I guess you know after we post this podcast up, I guess people will get a chance to give their feedbacks. Is there like a comment section on SoundCloud?
I don't know. I'm not really sure how all the podcast stuff really works, to be honest. I think that's why I kind of did the Twitter thing. That way, at least people
Ah,
can get in touch with us somehow if they even
yeah.
want
That
to.
don't be afraid to give us your feedback. This is our first time doing this, and I mean, I've tried it before, and it didn't go as good as we planned, and I'll talk about that in another episode.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about, my other channel. But um, we pick up momentum and we get feedback, and then you know, we'll listen. We'll look because we want this to be, you know, successful,
Yeah.
obviously. But
And our
we're just here
Twitter,
to do.
let me just put the Twitter out there because we need some
Yeah.
kind of advertising. It's Bunk
Hmm.
Buddy Theories, one word. And I think our thing is at bunk_buddy. So I really think we're gonna get a lot of gay porn stuff. But I mean it's okay. You know
That's
what?
right.
It's the human body, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh boy.
But I do prefer
Damn.
titties.
Yeah, me too. I
Ass
wouldn't
and
mind a little.
titties. Ass, titties,
Mm.
titties.
Don't be putting no like baboon's ass and some pit bull titties on
Beautiful
on the
titties.
comment. Like check
No.
this out.
No
There's an
orangutan
orangutan titty.
titties. Yeah.
No.
Gotta put her in a half Nelson just to lick her own nipples. Yeah.
Damn. What was it that one from Chappelle Show? Is like you got one big titty and one small titty, and that bitch they call that bitch Biggie Smalls. Yeah, that was a good show. All
Yeah.
right, so I guess let's just jump right into the topic.
Yeah, easy topic. First
Hmm.
topic, just ghosts. Just ghosts in
And then
general.
and then like we were talking about a while back, I have a shit ton of ghost stories, and maybe like from this, we'll see how this segment goes, and maybe I can we can make a little mini segment where I just give out a ghost story like every episode
Yeah, that'd be
until
cool.
I run out, or we can we'll have like a certain segment to talk about ghosts and to see oh recently I saw this on online, oh well, give our input and whatnot, but we'll see
Yeah,
how it goes. We'll
yeah.
see how this one goes.
I
So
just want to
like this
cover
episode,
just ghosts in general. Like, do you believe in ghosts?
what are ghosts?
Who is ghosts?
Where is ghosts?
What are being ghosties?
Why are ghosts?
So do you believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts?
Yes,
Yeah,
personally.
personally I do,
Yeah.
because like I said, I've witnessed and I have encountered a bunch of fucking weird shit growing up. And I'm not talking about like, being touched or anything, because I guarantee you that didn't happen. But I did experience a lot of shit growing up, and mostly in no, I guess I can say half and half, like half out here in North America, and the other half in in El Salvador, where my family's from. But for some reason, man, I feel like in third world countries, like paranormal activity is like amplified for some reason.
Huh.
Because do you get what I mean? Like that's how I've always felt. Like man, like I've experienced more. You know what? To be honest, maybe I guess I've experienced more shit in El Salvador than I have here. Because over here, I've only had like certain little instances and stuff like that, which I'll cover in other episodes. But in El Salvador, man, I've saw some crazy, unexplainable, almost, or just like I want to say kind of demonic
Hmm.
presence too. Um, you know, like it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Over there, for some reason, I feel like it's the ghost lores is like amplified because people believe. I guess people believe in it more because over there
Ye-
they're super religious, and
yeah, I
I know,
mean,
I know, yeah, I know in El Salvador they're like super fucking like Catholics and Christians, and don't do this, the devil's out here. Like I don't know what if it's that's what's causing it to be more rampant out there than it is out here.
well, I mean, like they say, if you believe in something strong enough, it's, you're giving it energy, you're giving it power, So I can
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
if you have a whole area of people who just they absolutely believe in ghosts, then
You'll be
they're gonna see more ghosts because that, like you said, it's just more amplified there.
yeah, right. It's almost like like how these like and I learned this from Ghost Adventures. And you know what? I'm gonna start doing my studies more on this. I'm not saying that I don't know enough about ghosts or anything, because I did experience some stuff, but they go into like like ghosts, they'll attach to you know certain peoples that give off certain energies.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and I saw like even in those what was it, the ghost hunters, where what was that team called, Taps?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Even with those guys, they'll use you know an electronic pulse generator to pulse out electrical currents, I guess, because supposedly ghosts feed off of it to manifest.
Right.
And I've always heard that. I didn't just hear that on those shows, but I heard in those shows they talked about that being a source. But I heard other people too, especially in El Salvador. They'd be like, yeah, it's almost like they draw the energy from electricity to manifest themselves, because they're made out of like ectoplasma or something like that. And I'm like, damn, that's fucking weird. Like, like like all that people telling you all the same shit at once, almost. Well, the same information, you know, because
Yeah.
I've heard that little theory. I heard that when I was in El Salvador by this old man that says that yeah they draw energy from electricity. But then growing up later on and then hearing people out here say that, and I was like, damn, like that could be true then.
Hmm.
Because I thought that guy was a a nut job over there, but No, he was right on the dot, man. Even out here, the white folks are like, oh yeah, we can get a generator to shoot out electrical currents or pulses, and the ghost can probably use that to draw enough energy to either manifest, move something, or somehow communicate to you through what is it they called when they recorded on those little
The
EV
electronic voice phenomenons,
yeah they
EVF
e,
or whatever.
EVP
Yeah,
is what they
EVP,
call it.
EVP.
So they can pick up sounds that the normal human ears can't hear, because I guess those recorders pick up another wavelength as well or some shit like that, or another, how do you say, like there's like
No,
layers I guess of sound, right?
right, yeah, because you
Yeah.
have different hertz, so
Hmm.
those the different megahertz and whatever. So it's like I think we can't hear below like 6 hertz or something like that. And I guess from
Hmm.
1 to 6, that's where they get a lot of like the weird ghost voices and detached, disembodied voices and things like that.
Ah, okay.
I'm actually gonna have to like check my facts on that one, but
Yeah, but I think I heard it like that too, where there's like layers of sound, and our ears can only pick up so much of those layers, and then I guess the lower layers we can't hear it, so that's why they use those, the tape recorders to pick up, the
yeah,
low frequencies or something like that. Because I guess the ghosts, they can harness energy and they can use it to push stuff around, but their theory is that when they pick up those voices, like it's because they used up all their energy to do other crazy shit. And then when they want to talk, finally, they're like, "Oh fuck! All right, here we go."
yeah,
All
and
right.
I think that has something to do with the equipment too. I always kind of had this weird theory that we can't hear the voices, but a voice recorder can pick it up. So that means the voice
Mm,
recorder is able to record on all those different frequencies, but when you play it, it plays it at the frequency that you can hear. Because that's what a voice recorder is supposed to do. It's supposed to play back everything it's recorded, but it kind of, I guess you could say, like upscales it to a frequency that you can hear with the human ear.
okay.
I don't know if that was the intention, but that's what it does. So you record yourself, and then you hear like the response, like, oh yes, I'm dead, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
okay, but you shouldn't be able to hear it because it would still record at that low frequency. But I think the voice recorders, at least maybe digital ones. I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
tape ones as well because they're recording magnetically. I think they up convert the frequency to a frequency that the human ears can hear. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, that was just something I thought up of a long time ago, and I've never heard anybody really talk about it before. But hey,
Yeah.
now everyone can hear about it on our podcast.
Yeah.
Man,
Imagine.
what if I just like have set the standard for theories and bunking and debunking and
And
voice
electronics.
recorders and yeah, like Radio Shack over here. I'm doing the man's jobs.
Oh, CompUSA.
Compusa.
Compusa. That sounds like a sexy pupusa right there. Dude, no, imagine you're like fucking around, you're recording and shit, and you just hear a ghost like in the EVPs go, "I'll suck you off."
Ooh.
Like, what would you do?
I don't know. I'd be like, how? And then turn the recorder back on. I want to know how.
Fucking ghost is like, dead ass.
It's like
Like,
you need to go to Amazon.com and order all this all this electronic equipment, and then I can suck you off. Like,
no,
oh shit.
imagine you getting like all the ghost problems in your house, and you hire somebody to come in and find out what the fucking ghost wants, and the ghost says in the EVP, "Man, tell this dude to stop watching gay midget porn."
You're like, I've never watched gay midget porn ever. I don't know what the fuck this ghost is talking about.
The ghost is like, "I can prove it. Check
Yeah.
his history."
I'm like, stop recording that motherfucker.
Well, yeah, I've never done an EVP before, but remember the one time me, you, and a couple of our friends went to a church
Yeah.
to record EVPs in the hallways and stuff, and it didn't turn out the way, like, I didn't know that these recorders were that good that it picked up my fart.
Yeah. And then we all stopped dead in our tracks, like, what was that?
Did you hear that?
It was a ghost.
Hey, I'm not even gonna lie. I did not know that that fart was in the chamber like that. I didn't know I was gonna fart. It just happened. I'm like, oh fuck. I hope
Oh,
that doesn't come out on the tape recorder. But it did though, loud as day. But you see,
Yeah,
that's how good those things are, man.
it
Like,
amplified it and everything.
I didn't because I didn't fart super loud at all. I didn't because we heard something, and I should have said something so you guys wouldn't be all freaked out. But like I just like let's see how, let's see if they can figure out what the fuck that was. But it wasn't a super fucking loud fart because the way I got it
Oh,
from you guys was like we heard something.
but on the voice recorder, it was very loud.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying uh
You fart at a
lower.
lower frequency.
Yeah, I fart. I generate low frequency farts, but like that kind of basically kind of you know hits the nail on the coffin when we're talking about the low frequencies. Like, dude, that fart was so low, and the tape recorder picked it up so well. So you know that that potentially could work. Like, you know,
Most EVPs are just farts.
yeah, just ghosts just ripping like ooh, just has a loose asshole. He's just
So,
doing gay ghost sex up there
oh god,
on top of you.
ugh. Like
Imagine
That's why I can't get to sleep at night because ghosts are just fucking on top of me.
fucking they're just clapping cheeks on you. Oh
Like, why am I so
man.
sweaty? Ugh,
But so yeah, so oh fuck, ghosts like all plasma all over you. Like damn, plasnut.
ugh.
Ugh. Oh boy, we're getting off topic now. Gay, gay, ghost sex.
Gay ghost sex.
Oh man. So back to
Well, all
I
right.
think
Let me ask this: do you think
uh
there are like different types of ghosts? Because when you watch these shows, I think especially Ghost Hunters, they really had like every kind of ghost category you can think of, you know. And there's like, there's the like there's like a haunting, which is like
mm-hmm.
it's a very specific ghost in a very specific place, and it's there to stay, and it's powerful enough, I think, to move stuff around. But then there was something different to that, where there was a haunting, and then there was a, oh boy, what do I call it, a poltergeist activity. So it was a poltergeist, and the poltergeist activity was a lot of physical things just moving. And
Yeah,
then they have residual hauntings, where it's some kind of uh
attachment, right?
yeah, like a psychic imprint on the area. So it's like, if you go to like a old house that was built in the 1800s, and you constantly hear like a child crying or something like that. Like the child might not actually be there. There's not like a child ghost there, but for whatever reason that there's a psychic imprint in that home where it constantly just keeps playing the same kind of
Like
sound or
pretty much
reaction.
like pretty much like a memory
Yeah,
that's
basically.
being played out.
Now,
You know.
let me blow your mind on this one. There was one where this guy was talking about he was walking through like an abandoned building, and he
Yeah.
heard something, and he turned to his right, and he saw like a kind of a translucent figure, and he was drinking from the water fountain. And then as he kind of like rubbed his eyes and closed his eyes, the image disappeared. But he said that the guy looked at him also, like he was kind of startled. And they came up with this idea that, you know, maybe there's these tiny wormholes that we can see through every once in a while, and we can see the past or the future, and we think that is like ghost activity too.
Crazy. I
Yeah,
never
that
heard that.
yeah, that was
I
pretty
heard of the
intense.
yeah, I heard of the theories of there's pockets of portals randomly like in the world, like, randomized
Right.
pretty much. And that it could either lead to the future or the past, like you said, but to hear it like somebody from the past or the future watching him going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's fucking crazy, dude.
So like if you're looking at something at the past and that past
Yeah.
person's looking at you at the future and they're both like, "Oh shit, I saw a ghost."
Yeah. Oh man. That could be it too, man. That could be.
But see, you got to watch your terminology though with the portal stuff, because sometimes in the ghost realm, a portal is basically just like an entryway from, you know, our
Whatever's.
our world and the next world, where there's just kind of it's just the veil is very thin. But
Uh,
portals mostly are like where ghosts come in and out freely or whatever. And
yeah.
you see it a lot with like the psychic people. Like they'll walk into a house and be like, "Oh, there's a portal right here," and then they kind of like back it up with like, "Oh yeah, it's really cold right here," or yeah, my all my gadgets and gizmos are going off like right here in this specific spot where she said there's a
Hmm.
portal. So, because I also think that there's just some places in the world where it's not necessarily a portal, but I think just the reality is just thinner there.
Huh.
That makes sense. Like there's just
Kind of. Yeah.
like the
Like
Bermuda
I don't know. Like
Triangle
there's.
and stuff like that. Like people disappear in the Bermuda Triangle, and then they find stuff in the Bermuda Triangle that's hundreds of years old, and just all this weirdness.
Oh man, that's another theory we got to talk about
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I've heard so
yeah,
much about that too. But we won't get into this.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah,
So fucking crazy. I never thought of that. The other explanation there, because I always heard like, oh, there could be like, you know, portals to like, either heaven or hell. But um, I usually when I hear about portals in houses or like a gateway type portal, it's from somebody doing something they weren't supposed to do
yeah.
to
Oh,
invite, like, for example,
like a Ouija
uh,
board kind of deal,
yeah,
or
like a Ouija board, or you just either like conducting,
conjuring spirits and stuff like
yeah,
that.
with a group. Like, I think it requires a group of people to do it, like a séance, pretty
Oh
much,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and or animal sacrificing, or just anything that has to do with a type of ritual to grab the attentions of the attention of whatever's on the other side. And they're thinking, oh well, if we just invite it over here, it'll just give us hugs and kisses and shit. But what they don't realize, like, because like you said, like, do you believe in if there's more than just one type of ghost? Me personally, I think there's two types of ghost. One being that the spirits that can't leave a certain, like, for example, like, you say your grandma passes away, but you feel that presence, like she's here. It's because she's probably attached to an item or an object that's causing her not to, pretty much is like when they're stuck here. It to me it's like it's limbo. Like they can't go anywhere. They can't go to hell or heaven
Well,
because they're
usually it's
stuck
like,
here.
yeah, it's like there's some kind of unfinished business, or there's something they
Hmm.
have to let somebody know about before they cross over.
Yeah. So a lot of the times where I saw like instances where this guy, I saw it in Ghost Adventures. And there was an episode where this guy had his mom's ashes in the house, but there's some crazy demonic stuff going on, and supposedly like his mom was into black magic, Santeria, and all that,
Huh.
and it caused it opened up something from a world, but it was demonic pretty much because they kept getting physical scratches. Typical three scratches, which means they're mocking the Holy Trinity, which is God, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Right.
And they always emerge at 3 o'clock in the morning. They do everything by threes. And to kind of tie it into, I heard also that when they say that what was it, when they're trying to conduct an exorcism, they'll be like, oh, how many are, who's there, who is it that's possessing the body? They go, it's many of us. There's seven of us, or they'll say it's seven of us. It's a legion.
Yeah, yeah. Legion.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, how does that tie into the 333? Well, because three is an odd number, so that's why they say seven.
Huh. Like prime
Is
numbers almost. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's a lot of that's also like I said, like demonic and stuff like that, and
yeah.
everything's
So
trying to mock, the Bible
that's
or God
yeah,
and Jesus. And because I mean, even in the Bible, seven is like a huge important number,
yeah.
you know.
In the Hebrew culture, right?
Yeah.
Something like that
So
too. Yeah.
so if like if there's seven entities there, but so what's the other type of ghosts do you think there is? So there's
Okay,
ghosts that are here just because they're in limbo and they
they're
can't
in
move
lim.
on for
Yeah,
whatever reason.
and then there's like what we were just talking about, demonic presence, which is you know these fucking demons either trying to possess or trying to ruin lives or trying to physically harm. Like I feel like those spirits have a purpose of their purpose is just to fuck shit up.
Hmm.
Just to
Yeah.
fuck shit up. It's either they don't want you in that house or they're gonna stick with you forever and just torment you because that's their job.
Hmm.
Because I don't think there's really like more to it than that. It's just they just come in and they just want to fuck shit up
Yeah, just pure
and
chaos. Yeah.
it's pure chaos pretty much. So I feel like there's just those two because there's nothing like oh there's animal spirits and there's fucking spirit like there's no other spirit forms that tie into just humans. You know what I mean? Like you can't say like, oh, there's a ghost of a dog or there's a ghost of a fucking a rose bush or like there's
Jeez.
no you right like there's no other forms of spirits. Like I only see it as like look we're the human race when we die it goes somewhere,
Right.
right? So and I feel like there can't be any other types of spirit but humans.
Yeah,
You know?
but I mean, also with that, you kind of because like Catholics believe that there's purgatory and limbo, and then you go to heaven or you go to hell, and Buddhists think you get reincarnated, and Muslims think you die and you get to go to your like own personal heaven with 72 virgins and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Well, and
mean,
like you said too, the reincarnation. Like, what is that?
like if you do bad in life, you come back as a cockroach, and as you slowly
Yeah,
do
yeah.
better, you kind of come back as a human again. I would hate that to keep coming back as a human. Like life is shitty as it is already, and like you have the good days and your bad days, but it's like, man, I'd rather be in at total peace than have to keep coming back and be like, oh, why, why
Yeah.
me? I don't want to do
You
this
know,
again.
if I were to come back, I want to be a midget
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
because everybody loves midgets, and I want to be loved.
Yeah,
But yeah. So like that's what I believe. There's just two types of spirits. There's the spirits that can't go anywhere,
but you're talking about
and
like
there's
interactive spirits, though, right? Like
yeah, yeah,
actual
yeah, yeah.
hauntings
Like
and actual like
yeah,
ghosts and
like
stuff like
ghosts.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
ghosts. But then the other one, like I said, demonic, and those are
Yeah.
just here for one thing and one thing only. It's just to fuck shit up. And if you invite them, they can get like I've seen it in the shows before too. But even before that, how people used to tell me is like spirits will attach to you. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
spirits will attach to you if they feel like you give out a certain energy that they want to keep using. They'll stick with you, and that's why till this day I don't you don't see me going around doing fucking ghost hunting trips and fucking provoking spirits. Like you can't do that. That's
Because you're afraid you're gonna find Casper and he's just gonna be your best friend for the rest of life.
yeah, and hear me out though. I'm not scared of fucking ghosts. Like I said, I've seen my fair share. I've been involved in witnessing shit going down that I can't, I don't think anybody can explain, right? So I believe like if you fucking provoke it and you invite it and you're like calling for it and all that, that gives out that energy that attracts them. Be like, hey, I'll stick with this guy because I can use his energy to manifest. And that's why you see people getting all dizzy and they feel like they're getting sick. And I feel like it's because yeah, the ghosts are fucking drawing all your energy.
Yeah, sapping their energy, and they're just
Yeah,
tired all the time, and or
yeah,
depressed. Because if you have like a demonic spirit, you're gonna feel oppression, and it's
yeah.
usually like you have mood swings. You become manic and depressive, and
Like
you end up getting on
Amityville Horror.
drugs and stuff. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Amityville Horror. Yeah, like that.
exactly.
Like that it takes a toll on the body and the mind and yeah, they'll just fuck you up. And I've seen people in El Salvador, man, that were dealing with that kind of shit and people used to tell me, hey, don't go to their house. Don't invite those kids over here because they're gonna bring whatever's over there over here. I didn't know
Dang,
what the fuck they're talking about. Like, damn, are they sick? Like, do they have
they got
diarrhea? What the
they
fuck do
got the
you not want in there?
smallpox.
Yeah, but no, it was because they had a severe case of bad jujus in that house.
Wow.
And people, man, there's this cases of people dying in that house and there's
Huh.
this baby who was I remember this clearly, dude. I think it was my friend's older sister was gonna have her first child, right? And everyone's all happy because they said, she wasn't gonna be able to have kids. And a couple of years later, bam, she has her first baby, right? And everybody's all happy, and they have this whole superstitious thing where, hey, we're red because if it's a full moon and that baby's born, the baby's gonna die, and this and that. And then, her grandmother used to be like, nope. She goes, I feel like that baby's not gonna make it. And
Dang.
everyone's like, damn, like what the fuck, buzzkill over here. But what she was trying to get at was there's demonic presence that don't want us to be happy here. That baby's not gonna make it. If you're gonna have that baby, go somewhere else. But obviously that girl refused, and I remember seeing that baby, dude. It was like right after it was born. Like its head, it was missing half of his head.
Oof.
Like that, like the skull didn't develop right.
Right.
So all you saw was like this big bowl-shaped head.
Yeah, I've seen that before. Like they still have a
Yeah,
brain and everything, but like their
their
skull didn't
skull.
form correctly.
Yeah, so it looks caved in pretty much.
Yeah.
And people got scared like even more after that happened. People were like, do not associate with these families, dude, because and it was kind of fucked up because it's like nobody wanted to help either.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in those cases, like, what can you do, man? This is like fucking demonic spirits, doing shit. Well, how are you gonna combat against that? People were scared, especially religious people. Even
Yeah.
more were scared. So yeah, and we did this weird little ceremony where it was me and my older cousin became the godparents of this dead child. Like we
Huh.
had to. It was weird, man. This whole Catholic thing over there and in El Salvador, it was a trip, man. Like they picked us two out of the whole town. They picked us two, and we're like, dude, this is creepy. And yeah, we sat there and we just when they were taking pictures, we were just on top of the casket, pretty much like just hovering over the casket, like this is creepy, dude. Like we were like basically forced to look at this dead baby in a casket. Like they didn't bother to close the damn thing. Like they had it wide open. I'm like, dude, man, this is giving me like like I was getting bad vibes, and I felt like, man, whatever's over here in this house, I need to get the fuck out because I'm feeling like an anxiety, like fuck, something's like crushing my chest, pretty much, where I couldn't breathe, and I was like, man, I gotta get the fuck out of here, and I just left.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so I was just like, man, yeah, and just recently when we went last year to El Salvador with the family,
Ah, save the
uh,
stories. Save the stories. Remember, save the stories.
no, 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 I was just real
I
quick,
know
real
you.
quick.
I know you want to.
No, no, it has nothing to do with ghosts, but I just, going on that trip with the family, we drove by that house,
Oh, okay.
and my mom pointed it out. I was like, "Remember that house?" And I said, "Oh yeah, creepy." I'm like, "Oh shit, it's still there. They didn't tear it down." Shit, man. I don't know if anybody lives in it, but they should have just tore that thing down. But actually, you know what? Do you think tearing down a house that's haunted fixes the issue?
It depends. I've heard theories that masonry work and building houses has a form of divinity and protection, like lines, like man-made lines in a home. I don't know if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Because like masonry, they have like the whole big masonry religion type thing, right? They
Oh,
have
the
like
Freemasons,
the
or
Freemasons
the
and stuff like that. And I've read things where like in I guess like in medieval times, it's like they would build walls in the middle of the forest, and the wall would protect the village from the monsters or the ghosts and stuff that haunted the woods.
ah,
And so like just by building it, by having that structure, it had some kind of, I don't want to say like magical power, but they probably believed it was magic of some sort, but definitely
yeah.
some kind of a divine kind of power that formed a barrier. So
Isn't
I
that from
mean,
that movie, that M Night Shyamalan movie? Remember where they were stuck in this village and there's these monsters that were out there?
oh, the village.
The village. Oh,
Yeah,
the fuck. We're like, fuck. What's the name of that movie? We're just saying the name like 50 times. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but they didn't build a wall in that movie. But I get what you're saying, like because I knew fucking the Freemasons like were involved in something like that, or that was like their beliefs or something like that.
yeah. It's It's something like that. It's kind of interesting. I'd have to look more into it, but I've read like a couple things where they talked about that. Like if you destroy a haunted house, does the area remain haunted? And a lot of people say no, because once you tear down the walls and you pull up the foundation, the ghost doesn't have like an anchor anymore.
Ah.
So like, if a ghost is attached to like a doll or the ghost is attached to a chair, you destroy that chair, the ghost might attach itself to something else, but more than likely it's just gonna poof and just go away, I guess.
Mm.
A la Supernatural, the TV show.
Yeah,
You know,
I watched that too. But yeah,
salt and burn everything, and it gets rid of the ghosts.
yeah. But then what prevents the ghost from attaching itself to like another person, let's say, or
Um, I
or
think
another
that
item,
has more to do with like your
demonic?
well, no, I mean like you personally, like your
Oh,
inner
okay.
strength or your convictions, your
Hmm.
faith and stuff like that.
Huh. What about one that doesn't give two shits? Like the ghost are like, fuck. Like, how do we approach this? Like, he doesn't believe in, or like, let's say an atheist who don't believe in anything, and they're
Well,
like, fuck. Do we
well,
scare
then
it
I guess
with
then nothing happens
Bible
to them, I
scripture?
guess.
Yeah, I guess I doubt it. Even there's people out there that they don't believe in any of that shit, and it still happens to them.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, oh,
You
I was
gotta
a
be some.
skeptic my whole life until I started working here at Toys R Us, and then everything's super haunted.
Yeah, but man, I'm getting the chills now.
I am too a little bit. My hair's
A
kind of
little bit,
standing up a
right?
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we're on edge, man.
yeah,
Fucking spirits are just around us. But yeah, like I said, like I always avoided, like that one time that you, and a couple of our friends went to that church. Uh, like I was like, fuck. I was pretty nervous because one, I didn't want anything to attach to me. But the only
yeah.
way you can get stuff like that is if you invite it.
Right.
If you invite like certain, you know paranormal like activities and stuff, like them pushing balls or saying something to you, like you're basically inviting them to attach to you.
Yeah.
And
Well, let me
that's
tell you, because I mean, I'm like, I used to be really into ghost hunting. Like, I really
yeah,
wanted to do it, and even when I came out here to the East Coast, I was like, man, I want to like find a group, I'm in one of
yeah,
like the ghost, I'm in like the ghost capital of the East Coast, and so I'm like, man, I really want to like get with a group, and then kind of like, I even bought like a Sony Power Shot because supposedly they were like the best ghost finding cameras, and they had like the night vision and all that stuff that was really great, and like they don't make them anymore, and I was starting to like you know, I was really looking into buying like the mel meters, testing the atmosphere and testing
yeah,
for
the
electromagnetic
temperature change.
pulses, temperatures, yeah. But what actually kind of spurred me from that was I was actually reading the Bible, and in like Deuteronomy 51 or 53, it specifically says, "Do not talk to the spirits of dead people because they'll tell you that they're your family members, but more than likely they're demons and they're lying to you." And it says that straight up in Deuteronomy. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I put the
Yeah,
camera
right.
away somewhere. I don't even know where the camera's at now. It's like somewhere in my garage. I never bought any other equipment. I'm still into it. I still like to watch all those shows and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But even when I watch those shows, I kind of like say a
close
little
it up.
prayer before I watch it, because even they say on their show like, hey, like even though this is kind of entertainment, like you can get a ghost or a demon to come through because you're willing it to happen. Like you really want something to
Yeah.
happen so bad that it ends up happening to you, even though you're watching a show that was like recorded like 10 months ago.
Mm.
And that was something else I want to talk about too was there's a psychic guy. His name is Derek Acora. He used to be. I really liked him, and then
Uh,
supposedly he came out that they said that he's like a charlatan or something. But I think it was. I don't know. I'm not really sure the details of it. But he talked about that there was a lot of spirits that would come back to certain places just to hang out. or because especially like they were the show he was on was Most Haunted, and they were in um, England, Ireland, Scotland. I think they even went to Germany a couple times. And so there's all
Yeah.
these castles, there's all this history. Everything in there was built in like 0 AD, and that all the structures are still there. And so he would say like they would talk to him and they'd say like, hey, so like why is this ghost here? It's like, well, he's not anchored here. There's no reason he can't leave, but he keeps coming back because he built this castle. Like this is his castle. Why would he not want to stay
Uh,
here? I don't know how truthful that is. Like I don't like I it was something actually I was talked about my wife about was like, if you know there's heaven, but is there different kinds of heaven? Does everybody share the same heaven? Does everybody get their own personal private heaven? Because, if you're in heaven and everything's perfect, why would you ever want to come back to earth?
hmm.
And then like there's those people that you
Yeah.
love but you don't want to interact with them in real life. And so when you go to heaven, and if they go to heaven too, like are you still going to interact with them even though to you they were pieces of shit, they treated you like shit, but you still love them because they're your family. So but do you have to deal with them in heaven, or do you deal with a piece of them that you loved in heaven?
Huh.
Yeah, fucking blowing my own mind over here. But this is
No.
something we talked about, and
Yeah.
and then you come back to ghosts, and you're talking about people being attached to things, and you talk about purgatory and hell and heaven. I A lot of times, especially you see it on Ghost Adventures because they do a lot of ghost come out and fucking fight
Yeah.
me.
Come fight me, motherfucker. Like
Yeah,
what's his name? Dak.
yeah, yeah. He got all
Come
buff
fight
to
me,
fight
bro.
ghosts and shit.
Yeah. Even though they kept fucking him up.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
did you see that link I posted up a while back? It was a movie that he made in 2014, but he couldn't release it until like recently.
oh yeah, the
Uh,
Demon House.
Demon House,
Yeah,
dude.
and that was weird because I saw something where like, because I guess he used to not really wear glasses a lot, and now he wears glasses all the time,
Because of that, yeah.
and it's
Um,
because of some kind of he had some kind of neurological issue or neurological breakdown,
dude, it
and
shows
his
it as it's
eyes,
happening in that
yeah, his
house.
eyes started going cross or something like that. So now he has
Yeah,
to
he
wear
has double
glasses all the
vision.
time. Yeah, that's crazy. And then like they talk about all the other people that were like had gone to the house and like all the weird stuff that's happened to them in their
They
lives
get
now,
sick.
and
They get sick.
yeah.
Like that one archaeologist. Was he an archaeologist? Where he was talking about like the magnetic.
Well, there's
Uh,
one person has gotten like multiple kinds of cancers. Like
yeah,
cancer
that.
doesn't run in his family at all, and all of a sudden he's like breaking out in all these different kind of cancers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was
Oh
trippy. And then
wow.
that movie has a warning saying, we encourage you not to watch this because a demon might get attached to you, or you might start feeling the effects that we felt and stuff like that. So I actually have not watched the movie because of that. I
Oh,
really
cool. I guess I missed that. I fucking watched the mother. I watched the shit out of that movie.
like I kind of do want
Oh,
to watch it, but I am like I said, I
and
am
and not only that, I posted it on Discord so everybody can watch it. So I'm basically fucking everyone's lives now.
yeah, basically.
But yeah, but yeah, that shit's no joke, man. Like that's why I never took it serious. I never took it like to the point where, man, I'm gonna fucking dedicate, to fucking making sure that the ghosts are provoked and they give me evidence and signs and nah, fuck that, dude. Like I always say, I'm not afraid of ghosts. I'm not afraid if they attach to me or whatever. But I love my fucking sleep. I don't want these motherfuckers coming up like, "Ugh," like at 3 in the morning. Like, yo, dude, I gotta get up in like 2 hours, man. Like, you not fuck with me, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want them fucking with my sleep. That's the only thing I have that I don't want to fucking bring a ghost to the house is because I love my sleep. But I'm
Well,
not fucking scared
have you heard of those
at
like
all.
psychics where they have like ghost like helpers? Like it's actually the ghost does all the work and they just kind of interpret what the ghost is saying. And I remember one where this lady was talking about like, oh, she'll go to the grocery store and she's like, damn, I forgot my list. Does anybody remember what was on my list? And she's got like three or four ghosts that just follow her everywhere. And they're like, oh yeah, you need to get milk, eggs, bread, mayonnaise, mustard, and don't forget
Fuck.
the get the hot dogs for the kids. And she's like, oh, okay, great, yes, I almost forgot. Like
Wait,
I thought that was just
like
trippy.
fucking ghost butlers?
Basically, like ghost aids, but not ghost aids. Ghost aids with the e at the end.
Oh, I was gonna be like, damn.
Ghost
No, I
aids.
know,
We'll talk
I
about
know
that
that's
next time.
yeah, I know they don't got a cure for that shit. Not even Magic Johnson can come back from that shit. But yeah, dude, like that's why, like like I said, I never took it serious. Like you know, I just don't want to bring that shit home. I don't want it to affect me or my family,
Yeah.
but mostly my fucking sleep. I don't want it to affect my fucking sleep. So that's why I never take it serious. There's incidents with Chris when we were younger. We went over to one of his friends' house,
Well, okay, look.
and
Why don't
yeah,
we do story time? Let's just get into
well,
story time.
okay, okay, but let me finish this one.
Oh
It's
my
not even that
god.
long. It just
Yeah,
has to
but
do with.
remember, we're supposed to do the story time section.
Oh,
Remember?
can we do an erotic story time?
As long as it involves ghosts or aliens or something, sure.
What about ghost aids?
Yeah.
Nah, we can do that. All right, fuck it. Then I'll save this story, even though it was like literally a short story on why I don't fucking take it serious. Funny story too. Well, of course with Chris, it's fucking funny. Anything's funny.
Yeah, that's true.
So, all right. So story time. Fuck. I'm trying to pick one good story.
Well, I remember we wanted to do like a chronological kind of thing. So
Yeah,
you told me about one when you were like 8 years old or something.
yeah. Actually, it was my first encounter with
Okay.
with fucking spirits or whatever the hell it was. But I didn't know how to take it because I was 8 years old, so I didn't really come to mind like, oh shit, that was a ghost. Like I don't know what the fuck it was at first until people started telling me this. So all right, so
Set the
you want
set
to
the
start off?
scene. Set the scene.
Okay, bam, December 24th, 1999. Actually, how old was I when I was 6? 97. It was around that time. I was no 8 years old. 8 years. Fuck, I'm all over the place. I was 8 years old. Don't know what year it was, but basically every year, me and my mom will go to El Salvador, and we'll throw a big old Christmas party for the whole family. That's when the whole family gathers from different parts of El Salvador. We all meet up in one spot, which is the house that everybody grew up in, out in the middle of nowhere, in the jungle. So everybody's having a good time. Chilling. They're all dancing, having fun, and back then in those smaller towns, there was one town that hosted the energy for all the other little towns and villages and stuff like that. But if everybody was using so much of that power, it would shut off. So basically, there'll be certain towns that get no power for hours.
Huh.
And we went through those power outages, growing up. Oh fuck, power's out. Oh, didn't think about it. So and that time, everyone's dancing, having a good time. It was probably it was like super late at night too. It was like probably like 10:30, 11, and I had this old camcorder, Sony camcorder, but that took the the big cassettes. Oh no, it was like a small cassette that you had to put in another big VHS cassette to actually watch the video.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the. I think it
I
was
think they're
High
just
Eights.
well,
High
it's either
Eights.
high or it's like the VHS-C, which is like I think like a compact VHS,
Yeah.
and you put in
Okay,
an
so it might have
adapter
been.
and play it in the
Okay,
in
so
the
that's probably what it
VCR.
was then. So I had this, camcorder, and then back then the camcorders didn't come with the lights, so you had to buy separate, like, accessories. Which was one was a halogen light that you slide on top. It had like this little port on top of the camcorder. You slide it on, and you press the button to turn on the light. So I had the light on because it was kind of dark in that room, and I'm just recording. Everyone's dancing, having a good time, and bam, fucking power goes out. And we're all like, "Oh fuck, the power!" Right? We didn't think much of it because like, "Oh, great." My uncle's like, "Oh, let me go over to the next town and see if what's his name is turning the power back on." And so he's getting ready to leave, right? And where I was standing at, I was standing pretty much at the main entrance of the house. We blocked it off so that all the crazy drunk people from the towns don't try to come into our party. So we basically put a couch in front of the big wooden door, and then we barricaded the door with a 2x4. Okay, that was basically the security system back then, and I'm still recording, right? And I know my great grandmother and my great aunt were behind me on that couch that was in front of the door, and all of a sudden, from the outside kitchen across the courtyard, we hear the I hear the screaming of like somebody being fucking mutilated, and I can imagine I you can imagine what kind of scream that is. Like just imagine somebody sitting there ripping your stomach open and pulling out your guts. So this scream, it was like it was a female scream, but it was a scream of like terror, right? And I'm
Right.
sitting there going, "Who the fuck is screaming? Like, calm down." Like I thought it was one of my, my girl cousins and whatnot. And dude, it got louder and louder to the point where it felt like whatever was screaming, it was fucking running towards the exit, which was the main door that we had blocked.
Huh.
And all of a sudden, that scream gets to the living room, and I feel like a gust of air go through me, right? And I'm recording all this, right? And you can probably be thinking like, oh, well, you had the light on, so you can see what was in front. No, the light turned off the minute the scream started.
Huh.
So my little halogen light that was on top of the camcorder kept flickering, and then it just turned off. Boom, that's when the screaming started. And I was like, oh shit, what the hell's going? What the hell? I started freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And yeah, I felt it go right through me, whatever it was. And then just to fuck with me even more, the door behind me fucking slammed shut.
The one that was barricaded or the
The
bedroom?
one that was the one that was barricaded. That was the main entrance to the house.
Huh.
That door was barricaded. There was a couch with my great grandmother and my great aunt sitting on it in front of the door, and there was a 2x4 that locked it in place so it doesn't open. And I hear the door slam shut, and I go,
Jeez.
"What the fuck was that, man?" And all of a sudden, bam, the lights turned back on. My uncle's like, "Oh, they probably fixed it." And guess what? The halogen light on the camera turns back on, right? So I was just like, "What the fuck was that?" Right? And I'm
Did
looking at everybody. Yeah, look, trip out.
yeah.
I was looking at everybody to confirm, like, yo, did you guys not witness what the fuck just happened, right? Just looking at everybody with that face, like, what the hell was that? And everyone's just like, whatever. All right, let's get back to drinking. And I'm all like, nobody fucking cares about what just happened. I told my uncle, I'm like, hey, did you guys hear that? He goes, oh, the screaming? And I go, yeah, you heard it? And then he's like, yeah, I heard it. I'm like, dude, what was that? It was probably a fucking ghost. Whatever. Like, it was normal to them.
Damn.
And I was just like, what the actual fuck? Like, that blew my fucking mind that nobody gave two shits
So
about fucking ghosts.
was it just something that just was so common? They're like, oh yeah, don't worry about that.
Probably,
Or
man.
was it just like them, just like no, like don't think about it, just ignore it, leave it alone, it'll
No,
go away.
I think they just got tired of it. They got tired of reacting to that. So they just like, whatever, it happens. Big deal, big whoop, want to fight about it? Like
Dang.
shit like that. Like they don't care, they didn't care. But I was just like, man, that was a fucking ghost that just came through the house and nobody gave a single fuck about it. Like, whatever, let's party. And dude, that's when I started like noticing certain events that were happening in growing up. Just from that one alone, that's what woke me up to like, hey, there's things called ghosts. you know,
Dang.
they exist.
So as an 8-year old, that was like your first experience with it.
Yeah.
Like you watched Ghostbusters, you thought, oh, that's a great movie. Too bad it's fake. And then this happens.
Yeah. You know which movie kind of confirmed the whole ghost things for me? And it
But
sounds stupid, but the movie Ghost
okay, okay. I
with
see where you're coming
with
from.
right? Like when I watched that and I go, fuck, that could have been what this guy, Patrick Swayze is. It's just a fucking ghost. Like, what if
Yeah,
that ghost is stuck in that house and it wants to get out, but it keeps coming back because it can't leave? You know what
yeah.
I mean? And I started putting shit like that together. Like, I'm a dumbass, but for some reason, that movie when I was watching that, I'm like, man, that reminded me of that incident. And I was like, what if that's what's going on in that house?
Yeah,
That,
Ghost the movie was kind of ahead of its time. Like it really,
hmm,
like it was the first movie that ever really talks about like ghosts are invisible, but they're there. You know,
yeah,
ghosts have
yeah.
the ability to like manifest power and do things. And then it was kind of the first movie they ever kind of told anybody that, well, maybe not the first movie, but it was the first critically acclaimed movie, maybe, that was like, oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
psychics can interpret and speak to ghosts, and there is such a thing as possession and stuff like that. Because I mean, I think there was a lot of weird movies before that came out.
Yeah, but not like, for some reason for me, that one was like the most impactful for me.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I didn't see any of the other older stuff, but like when that movie came out and people were just kept talking about it, I'm like, oh, I'll give it a shot, But it was like a cheesy love movie, like a romantic movie, but
Right, and that's what everybody remembers it as. But
yeah,
in the
but
reality of it, you're like, oh man, they really hit on the nose on a couple stuff.
yeah, dude,
Because I remember watching Poltergeist as like a kid, like the original
yeah,
Poltergeist movie,
yeah, I remember that one.
and
What's that midget lady's name?
uh, God, I can't remember, but I know she's supposed to be like the, oh my God, what's her name? She's really famous too. Like she she was, they did another movie about her, which was The Conjuring. She's the lady. So that lady in The Conjuring, the
Oh,
psychic lady, her and her
they based it
husband.
off of her.
Yeah, it's supposedly based off of her.
Mm.
And I think she's still alive. She was actually on that show Paranormal State a lot. She was always the old lady that they would like kind of confer with and find out like, what does she think's going on? It's pretty crazy.
Ah,
All right, so my turn.
your
Um,
turn. Tagsies.
yeah. I don't know if I ever really experienced anything when I was super young, but I know my most definitive experience happened when I was about 11. And that experience kind of opened my eyes up to a lot of that stuff. So when I turned, like being 11 years old, that was like the year that I experienced like the most stuff. I think it was also because I was going through puberty at 11,
Ah,
which I think is like really young to go through puberty, but I'm a fast learner. So it was just kind of like, maybe because my hormones were going crazy that I kind of saw more stuff. Maybe, I mean, who
yeah.
knows? Biologically, maybe that allowed me to see that, but the craziest thing I ever seen, and I had never realized that you could take a picture of a ghost. Never in my wildest
Oh, I
dreams at
forgot
11
about
years
that. Yeah,
old,
yeah.
right? That you could take a picture and it could capture and imprint a ghost in it. So so I'm like 11 years old. We used to live in an apartment building, and it was a big apartment building. It was kind of open, so all the neighbors kind of knew each other. And so I remember a neighbor of ours coming over my house, and she wanted to talk to my dad. And me and her were the same age, but she wanted to talk to my dad specifically. And my dad was just that kind of guy. Like everybody wanted to talk to him about something,
Yeah.
or wanted to ask his opinion about something. He was just a trusted male figure in the apartment complex that everybody kind of brought their issues to. So
Mm.
what she did was she came over and she had this picture and she handed him the picture and she was just like, "So what do you think?" And my dad sat there looking at this picture like, "Wow, yeah, that's wow. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. Whatever, just kind of, talking to her." And I was kind of like, "What are you guys looking at?" And they kind of looked at each other and then looked at me and I'm like, "Okay, what? What's on the picture?" So he hands me the picture and I'm looking at this picture and right away, like just touching the picture, like I felt like a kind of like an energy coming off the picture itself. Like it was really
Kind of like a
weird.
weird. You got like these weird vibes, right?
Yeah, like it just really like just like my brain knew that whatever I was looking at and was trying to interpret
Uh huh.
was not
Disturbing.
of this world. Yeah. So in the
Oh.
picture, it's a picture of her brother. Her brother just turned 21. And in the
Yeah.
picture, he's like a gangster kid, whatever. So he's like throwing gang signs or whatever in the picture.
Uh huh.
But in the picture, it's just it's just one crazy thing after the other. So in my head, I'm like, this kind of has to be fake, but this is 1990 something, and
Yeah.
these
So
our
they
neighbors are
didn't have
like
the
right. Our neighbors are like gangbangers, so they don't really, you know, I don't think they'd have the
They don't
wherewithal
work
or
for
would.
Warner Brothers basically
Right.
is what
Yeah,
I'm saying when it
they
comes to
wouldn't
like
care to go out of their
the
way to
fame.
make a fake picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in this picture, there's like a really big like wisp of smoke. And I kind of asked her, I was like, "Oh, was your brother smoking?" And she goes, "No, my brother doesn't smoke. He wasn't smoking any drugs, and he doesn't smoke cigarettes, so he wasn't smoking." So the smoke being in the room is weird in the first place, and then the smoke
Yeah.
itself just looks really weird because the smoke just has like a really weird kind of trail,
Like an
and
ominous trail.
yeah, kind of like it didn't look like my parents smoked, so I knew what cigarette smoke looked like. I knew what
Yeah.
smoke coming off a cigarette looked like. I know what smoke coming off a campfire looks like.
Hmm.
This did not look like this looked like it looked fake, but it was smoke and it was in a picture, and I was like, okay, so it must be smoke. But in the smoke, you could see two or three things, and one of the things you see is a upside down skull. At the very top of the smoke, there's an upside down skull.
Hmm.
About midway through the smoke is like a skeletal hand, like gripping the smoke. And I think there
Yeah.
was something else in the picture, but I couldn't really tell what it was. But it was something that was in the smoke, something that was coming out of the smoke. And I was just like,
Uh-huh.
wow, that's freaking crazy. And the more I look at the picture, I keep seeing more smoke and I keep seeing like weird stuff. So like on his it's like it's got a picture of his bed, the wall. Like this picture is like seared into my brain. Like I can't
Huh.
forget this picture if I wanted to. Like I
Jesus.
remember it from top to bottom. So there's a window in the back, there's a wall, there's a bunch of pictures, there's him, there's a smoke on the left side of him, then there's a little bit of smoke like next to his bed
Hmm.
and next to his pillow, which I thought was really weird. And then in the smoke on the pillow, you kind of see like a orb, like a shape. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, is that? It kind of looks like maybe somebody's head, but it was like kind of too roundish. But on his
Yeah.
pillow, you can see there's like a weird crease in the pillow, like someone's laying their head down. So I was kind of like, well, maybe the pillow just looks like that, but I mean, it was just weird because like the smoky, like the billow of the smoke was like laying on the bed almost, and it was
What
like
the
pushing
fuck?
down on this pillow. And then in the back, he's got all these pictures. Now, his sister said that he wasn't into drugs, or like, I guess let me rephrase that. He's into like drug culture, but he wasn't
Yeah.
into drugs, like doing drugs. So in the back you see like, there's like a Bob Marley poster, there's like those weird glow in the dark pictures of like mushrooms.
Oh,
There's
like when you take the
yeah,
acid
yeah.
posters. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then there's like,
Mushroom
a couple
posters.
posters of like marijuana leaves and marijuana plants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what tripped me out and what they didn't notice was, and I told them like, "Hey, are his posters like upside down in his room?" And they're like, "What?" And she like snapped the picture out of my hand, and she looks at it. She goes, "No, all these posters in his room are like right side up, and at least
Huh.
because he had like 10 posters, and at least three or four of them were like upside down. Like the drug
Hmm.
ones, a lot of the drug ones were like upside down. So we're like, oh damn, that's crazy. And so like, and I told her like, so if we go over to your house right now, these posters are right side up. She goes, yes. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, can I see the picture again? She's like, okay. So I'm looking at the picture again, and then I go, did anybody notice the little girl in the window? And
What the
all of
fuck?
them, yeah, all of them, all their mouths just drop. And she tries to snatch the picture out of my hand, and I was like, no, 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 no. Like, you have to tell me right now. Do you see the little picture, the little girl in this picture before you like handed it to me? And she's like, there's no little fucking girl. I'm like, yeah, I know there's no little girl because you guys are on the second floor and his window looks out over the train tracks. And so it's like
Oh.
not only is on the second floor, but there's also train tracks that go down maybe like 20 feet in
Oh.
like in like, I don't know, because that's how trains are in California,
Yeah.
they're just, it went through the back of our apartment building and there was like kind of like it almost looks like a reservoir, like the LA River. It looks like the reservoir,
Mm,
sort
yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah.
And people can get it there and they can run back and forth and ride their bikes and shit down there as long as they don't get killed by the train. But so
Yeah.
I told her, like, yeah, I know there's no little girl there, like technically, because there's no way she could be like hanging out the side of that window. There's
Yeah.
nothing out there. But I could tell it's a little girl because she's got straight black hair and she has like a little bow tie on the top of her head.
Hmm.
But her face looks like if you were looking at like an X-ray of somebody's face. So like you look at an X-ray, you can see the skull like pretty clearly, but you can still see the outline of their
Like
skin
the
and the
like.
outline
Yeah.
of their
Yeah.
of their muscles and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so there's like a little girl in the background, and everybody who's touched this picture hasn't noticed it except for me. And
Wow.
then so I turn around, and I show them the picture. I'm like, look, there's the little girl, and they just like trip out. They trip the fuck out, right?
Fuck.
Like like the girl starts like shaking, like her friend is like picking her up. So my dad's like, you guys need to like come sit down, let me get you some water or whatever. And then so she kind of calms down a little bit, and my dad says, hey, you know what, I don't want to freak you out any more than you already are freaked out, but I think you need to know who lived in that apartment building before you guys moved in,
Mm.
because at this point we've lived there for 6 years, because I think we moved there when I was 5, so I'm 11. Yeah, so we've been living there for
Where
6 years.
was this at?
This was in Alhambra.
Oh, okay.
So I think they'd been living there about 3 or 4 years by that time. But when we first moved there, there was a guy that lived there, and my dad knew him. My dad talked to him a lot. My dad was trying to get him a job at the cable company, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he seemed like a cool guy, but he had this really bad past. Like I guess he had made a lot of good money. He had a family, but he got really into drugs and started like shooting up heroin, smoking crack, stuff like that. And so he went to jail. So he went to jail for like, I think like 5 years. And before he went to jail, his wife was pregnant. And so he had a daughter and had not was never able to see her. So his wife would never. I think his wife divorced him while he was in jail, and just all this bad stuff. But when he got
Yeah.
out, he was clean, and he wanted to like reconnect with them, and he especially wanted to reconnect with his daughter because
Yeah.
he had two teenage kids that they just didn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. You know,
Hmm.
like you liked drugs more than you liked us, so we don't want to deal with you. The wife didn't want to deal with them, but he had this daughter that he'd never seen. She didn't know anything about him, so he wanted to have like a clean slate with her. So he was really pushing to like ask his wife, can I, if you don't want me to come over there, can you come over here and bring her? I really love to see her. And so that kind of went on for about a year. He lived there for a year, and at the end of it, his wife sent him like a cease and desist letter, like, don't contact us. You're never going to see your daughter. Stop. Go do.
Damn.
We have our lives. You have your life. You go do whatever you got to do. And so what my dad said was, after he got that letter, maybe like a week later, the police came to do a safety check on him, and they found him dead in his house of a drug overdose.
Oh shit.
So basically, he went out, got himself as much heroin as he could afford, and shot all that shit up into him like
Just
that night.
slammed that damn thing.
Yeah,
Oh man.
and then killed himself because I mean, I guess his life was just shit at that point. What's the point of living if you can't be with the ones you love? So, and then after that, another family moved in for about a year, and they were having all kinds of terrible shit happening to them. Like the older sons were in and out of jail all the time, and it's like I remember the mom kind of telling us, I have good boys, they were never like this before we moved here, and so they only lived there for a year, and then they booked it, and then
Oh
and
wow.
then and then these people moved in, and even them, like when they first moved in, they were kind of a happy-go-lucky family, and then I think
Hmm.
the dad left, and then like I said, like the brother became like a gangster, and then the girl who came over our house, she was turning into one of those like chola chicks, like she wore sweatpants and sweatshirts all day
She
long and
was all
stuff, and
latered out.
yeah, basically. So it's like in the 3 year time or however many years they lived there, that's kind of how their kind of lives progressed. And then after she told them that, uh, I think their whole family left. They moved away like maybe like a month later.
Oh wow.
And I think it had to do a lot with that picture too, like
Yeah. Once they
especially my
started
dad
pointing
telling
out
them,
certain things.
yeah. And then what was crazy was that apartment building. there was no apartment 13.
Uh huh.
So it went from 1 to 16, but it skipped. It went 12, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, just like in skyscrapers too. If you notice, there's no 13th floor on
Yeah,
some of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think when from what I understand, when it was apartment number 13, like a lot of bad stuff happened there. A lot of people didn't want to live in there. And in fact, I think most of the time we lived there, people who moved in were only there for maybe a couple months at a time, and then their lives
Uh,
just kind of turned to shit, and then they moved out.
they just book it.
Yeah. So I mean, that whole apartment was kind of freaky. And I have some more stories. Like I said, when I turned 11, I witnessed just a lot of weird shit just in that apartment complex. And so like in 1 year, I just dealt with a lot of like weird paranormal stuff
Weird.
going on.
Yeah, man. Fuck.
But
Dude,
yeah,
what you
that
call
was
it? Like when you're talking about heroin, I had a cousin recently. So he's been dead what for 3 years now. Died of heroin overdose, and he already had like a bad heart. Yeah, I think he had heart complications too on top of that, but I think the heroin just killed him straight up. And after everything's all said and done, we did the funeral for him and whatnot. My aunt, she told me that she was laying there and all that in bed. She was just kind of like dozing off a little bit in the afternoon, and she swears till this very day that she saw my cousin standing in the doorway. And my aunt, she said she was like full on awake, but she looks over and it's him. It's my fucking cousin right next to her in the doorway. And she looks up at him, and then all he does is he shrugs his shoulders and he goes, "Oops." Like,
how
no, dude.
profound.
Like, yeah, but like it was almost like confirming, like, "Yep, what can you do, man? I fucked up."
Yeah, damn.
That was the vibe she got off of that when he shrugged his shoulders and went, you know, pretty much like him telling her, like, "Yeah, I know, I fucked up. Oh well."
Pretty crazy.
Dude.
Yeah, man. So some more story time in the future. Like I said, we're going to try to do this as chronologically as we possibly can.
Yeah, we'll have a couple of stories thrown in for each story time. Yeah, it's just gonna be straight up ghost stories, huh? Until we just run out.
Probably. I don't really have too many like alien encounter stories. I might have like one or
Oh,
two. I have a
not
couple of
not
secondhand
aliens.
ones.
I have illegal alien, encounters, but being that half my family is illegal aliens, or they used to be. Now they got their citizenship, but no, I mostly have encountered ghosts, more ghosts than anything else.
Yeah.
But also, what I'm going to throw into is the stories about what other people have told me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll throw those in too because some of their stories kind of link up to like, oh shit, I remember when somebody was yelling in the middle of the street that night, or oh, that's why I heard all those dogs going crazy one afternoon, like
Hmm.
so I take any story, you know I'll take any story because, like, especially when other people tell stories, it's creepy as hell, man. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah.
it's because of the tone they add to it, but it's creepy. It's fucking creepy, man. No matter how you can fucking sound like Mickey Mouse and tell me ghost stories, and I still be like, yeah, that's kind of fucking creepy, man.
What if they sound like Donald Duck?
I won't be able to understand those motherfuckers, man. Oh, and going back to the Conjuring, I think the name of the lady was Lorraine Warren. It was her and her
Yeah.
husband, right? So Lorraine and Ed Warren.
Yeah. 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 That's it.
Yeah, I put the little backstory on Discord for you.
Yeah. So that the old lady in Poltergeist is supposed to be Lorraine, or like a
Uh,
caricature
like
of
a
her.
version, yeah.
Yeah. And then in The Conjuring, like that is actually her story. That's Lorraine's story. And then
Ah,
as an older lady, she, like I said, she's helped out the people on Paranormal State, which I thought was a pretty good show.
huh. And she's still alive, huh?
I think so. I want to say she is.
Uh,
I might be wrong.
so were they also involved with the Annabelle doll, by any chance?
I want to say yes because I
They were the
think
ones in possession of it at one point, right? And that's why the
right
shit was
because
going
her
crazy.
husband, yeah, her husband had creepy museum or whatever, or like a ghost
Hmm.
museum that he collected all these crazy things.
Oh, that's right.
And I think Annabelle was one of the things that they possessed or had in their possession. The doll
Because
itself was
I know they did a
possessed.
backstory. I know they did like a backstory for that doll in a separate movie, right? That's what it was called, Annabelle, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
So and then that whole incident with that doll happened before The Conjuring,
I
from
think
what I
so
take
because I
it.
think in the Conjuring movie they
They
reference
had
it.
it already. Yeah.
Yeah, like they already had it in his museum or whatever.
Hmm. I remember seeing that episode of Ghost Adventures when you know how Zach has his museum in Vegas.
Yeah,
They had the guy who has the doll right now bring the doll to his museum, and shit was getting out of control with that fucking thing, man.
yeah. He
Like it,
touched it or something, right?
yeah, he fucking touched it. He grazed it,
Yeah, they told
and
him like don't touch the doll, and he was
and
just
he
kind of walking around in circles around the doll, and he just like
and he just
touched
got
it and
away.
then just like booked it out of the room or something. And the guy
Yeah,
caught him. The guy was like, no, 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 I'm leaving. I told you not to touch the fucking doll.
yeah, he touched the doll. Like he goes, dude. He goes, well, I felt like the urge to touch him. Like I felt like I needed to.
Yeah,
He's like, dude, that's the doll. The doll got you, man.
yeah,
The
that was
doll
crazy.
fucking got
I
to you.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's creepy. I wouldn't even go. I wouldn't even step foot in that shit. Tell you the truth, I won't step foot near any museum that has to do with death, like the Death Museum here in Hollywood.
Oh,
Like I won't go. I won't go into that place. It's like, what the fuck would I want to
I
watch
really
that?
do want to go to Zach's haunted museum thing though. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it looks cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I wish I can go to shit like that, but I'm just scared that all that shit that he has in his possession, like, it is from haunted areas, right?
Yeah,
From
but
what I,
everything's under like lock and key though. Like I don't think you could touch any of it. Like everything's like behind
yeah,
glass. Everything's
but
like
the aura, the spirits, is still like around it. Like yeah, like okay, I locked Annabelle, the Annabelle doll in a glass case. What the fuck is gonna stop that thing from just still coming out? Like it's a fucking ghost, man. It goes through shit, bro. It doesn't matter if you lock it or not. You know,
yeah, that's
I
true.
would love to check it out, man. That'll be dope, but fuck, I just don't want to. I don't want to be attached with anything at all.
Yeah, I get that.
That's my one biggest thing about that is that I don't want to bring it here because you don't know what the fuck you don't know what the fuck you're bringing in your house.
Yeah, that's true.
It can be a spirit that just doesn't know where to go, or it can just be a demonic presence.
I don't know. I guess you take that gamble every time you go thrift shopping, right?
Thrift store shopping? Fuck,
Yeah.
I never thought of that, dude.
Like most of that stuff comes from people that died, didn't it?
Oh fuck. Well, one of our friends, they're fucked.
Uh, oh well.
Oh
Rip,
well,
rip in peace.
rip. Get good.
All right. Well, I guess that's the end of our first episode.
Damn.
Yeah, we're
Is
almost
it?
hitting the 130 mark.
Oh, look at that. Perfect
Yeah,
timing, huh?
not bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I feel confident about this. And
I don't know if I should cut out the first 10 minutes because it was just us bullshitting or not. But
no, leave it there. Leave it there.
okay,
Why?
okay,
Just
okay.
let it flow naturally, man. Just like your farts, bro. You just
Yeah,
gotta let it
yeah,
flow. You can't force it out. You can't, hold it in. It just comes out, man.
yeah. Well,
Probably be a ghost fart, but hey.
yeah. Like I said, catch us on Twitter. I don't know if we want to start an Instagram. I don't know why we would. I guess we could just copy and paste creepy shit all day. That's something we could do.
Or certain topics that we're gonna talk about, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah,
Kind of like,
definitely.
pretty much just like a scheduling of our show that we put out there so people can find out. Oh, they're gonna start,
Yeah,
this
I'm
time.
pretty sure the first couple episodes we're just gonna do basic stuff, and like I said, we're not gonna do. We don't know if we're gonna do this once a week or twice a week, or I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. We could do this as much as we want because we have so much free time in our hand. So I don't know, man. I mean, I hope it's a good first episode. Let us know in the comment section if we have one. I don't know if we do or not, or just tweet us.
Question mark?
Yeah,
Get on the get on
Twitter
the
us.
get on the twatter,
Yeah, twat
twat on us.
us. Yeah,
We'll think about doing a Facebook page also, just so we can get our podcast around. But also, maybe in the near future, man, we can do some kind of You know, I guess as the show progresses, we can do like webcam streaming.
Yeah, I probably have to go
I
buy a
guess.
webcam.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not promoting them. They don't pay. They don't. I'm not sponsored by these guys, but Logitech makes some good cameras.
Dude, did they capture ghosts? That'd
Well,
be
you can
fucked
wait
up
till
if
that,
we're
bro.
doing like a live cam and then a ghost just
And then
comes
some
up out of
motherfucker just
nowhere.
fucking photo bombs you and shit.
Yeah, that would super suck. All right, well, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. So, hope you guys enjoy our show. There'll be plenty more. And yeah, follow us on, I guess, what is it? Twitter? Just
Yeah,
Twitter then.
Twitter. Yeah,
Pretty soon.
Bunk Buddy Theories on Twitter. We'll probably do a Facebook page. I think I'll probably put some clips of us on YouTube, maybe. Do like a little
We'll
YouTube
see. We'll see.
page.
We'll see as we develop this podcast more and more. We would do stuff that we can post up on YouTube or just I don't know. Like I was thinking, like I was telling you, I was thinking about like putting videos of us playing video games and stuff because we're into that too.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
into gaming, so we can post. We can live stream to YouTube or Twitch or whatever. We'll see where the show goes.
yeah.
You know, we
And
don't
then
think too ahead.
we'll get a Patreon and a PayPal account. You guys could send us monies and stuff, maybe. I definitely want people to like send us stuff that either their stories, which we could read on
Oh
air or
yeah.
whatever, or if they want us to like research something. Because I know there's all kinds of weird ghosts, creatures, historical figures, things like that that are just out there that and as we get into more episodes, we're gonna do like really specific topics. Like, have
Hmm.
you ever heard of the Filipino aswang?
Wait, what?
The Filipino aswang. Have you ever heard of the aswang?
Does this have to do with like sex and shit?
No, but I guess we could save that for another show.
Uh,
But I'm pretty sure I
that
have to tell
sounds
you about
that
it so you
sounds
know
like
what we're talking about. But
that sounds like it fucking hurts.
it's incredibly weird, and uh,
Delightful.
Eugene actually had a great story about it that he told me. So I'll
Uh,
tell that story, and I don't know, just look up the aswang. Crazy,
Ass Wong. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Better not be grossed out by it because I don't like watching that shit.
No, no,
Gross
it's nothing
shit.
weird. I mean, it is weird, but it's nothing sexual.
Uh, it's surprising you didn't even ask me what strain I'm on.
Should I stop it now? Should I stop recording?
Oh, if you want to, big boy.
What
All right,
strain? What are you
guys.
talking about?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. You didn't even notice I'm fucking stoned. Like I'm high off my ass right now.
Okay, I mean, I might cut this part up.
Yeah.
Nope, it's
Enjoy
staying.
our
You
show.
fucked
No,
up.
it's staying. Yeah, no, it's staying. Fuck it.
Okay,
No,
fine.
but yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. And you got the information. Whatever. You can
Yeah,
repeat this. You can rewind.
yeah. I'll tweet this
So
out. We recorded our first episode, and if anyone wants to send us anything, any stories, or wants us to research anything or look into something or whatever, I'm down for
yeah,
whatever.
let us know and
Yeah.
we'll cover it. All right. So this is Paul
And James
and James, and we are out of
out.
here.
Stupid.
Kid,
We're
what was it? Kid Gusto out.